Hi, I'm Daniel with eTrailer, and today we're going to take a look at and I'm going to show you how to install the TowSmart Trailer Hitch on our 2016 GMC Terrain. These compact SUVs are great and they're pretty versatile, so adding a hitch is going to be a really good idea, especially if you're going on those long bike rides with the family. You can put a bike rack back here, or you can even do some light duty towing, maybe tow a camper back here when you're going on a campsite. Now let's get right into how this is going to look on your vehicle. As you can see, it doesn't look too bad. Those cross tubes are pretty well hidden behind that fascia, and it's got a nice shiny black finish. Now, if you are planning on towing with this, the max towing capacity is going to be 4,500 pounds, and the max tongue weight is going to be 675 pounds. That's the weight pushing down on the hitch receiver. So that's good to know if you have a bike rack or cargo carrier. And if you are planning on towing, I would always recommend getting some trailer wiring. This just makes everything safe and legal while you're towing your trailer. Now, do always check your owner's manual and make sure you're towing what your vehicle can handle. On the bottom of the hitch, there's this loop that's welded on, and that's going to accept your safety chain, and that can easily have an S-hook or a clevis style fit in there. Now, you will need a 5/8 inch pin and clip to secure your accessory in your hitch. Now, this won't come with the hitch, but it usually will come with your accessory when you get one. Now, I would always recommend getting a locking pin just so you have that extra sense of security when you're out on the trail and you don't want anyone to take your bike rack. Now I'll go ahead and get you a couple measurements. So from the ground to the top of the hitch receiver opening, it's going to be about 15.5. So that's good to know if you have any longer accessories. You want to make sure those don't bottom out when you go up a steep incline. Now the next measurement is from the center of the hitch pin hole to the outside of the bumper here, and that's going to be about 5 inches. So that's good to know if you have any folding accessories like a bike rack, and you want to make sure that doesn't hit your bumper when you have that folded. If you decide to get this hitch for your terrain, then please let us know how it's serving you out on your adventures and how you're liking it in a review or comment. Now, as far as the install goes, this is a pretty easy install. It's just a bolt-on application. But if you don't have the time or tools to do this yourself, then check out our dealer locator and we can find a professional in your area to get this done for you. But if you're looking to do it yourself, follow along and I'll walk you through it. First off, we're going to want to clean some weld nuts out. Now, this is a 2016, so these weld nuts are pretty rusted out, so we're gonna have to clean them with a wire brush. And I got some silicone spray that I'm gonna spray in there as well to help get some of that gunk out of there. If you have brake clean, that works pretty good too. Now, if your weld nuts are as rusted as ours are, then you're probably gonna have to tap them out. So you may need to get a tap and die set, or just get all that rust out there the best you can. But I'm actually going to tap them out today, so I'm going to lower this exhaust to make it a little easier. I'm just going to use a strap and get this secured somewhere on the frame. And if you are doing this on the ground, you can support the exhaust with a box or a block of wood. But now I'm going to take these 3 rubber isolators off so I can get this to drop down. I'm going to spray this with some silicone spray. You can spray it with some soapy water. Now I'm just going to pry it off. We took the driver's side isolator off as well. Now the third one's going to be closer to the front. I'll get this off the same way. And now it will drop down to where our support strap is. That'll give us a little more room to work. Now if yours are clean enough and your bolts just go in and out just fine, you can skip this step entirely. Now I cleaned out all our holes and we can now put our hardware into our frame. So I got our fish wire, our larger spacer block, and a carriage bolt. I'm going to put that carriage bolt into the block and get this threaded onto our fish wire. And this is called a reverse fish wire technique, where you just put the bolt in and then the spacer block. And now you just want to pull the bolt down. Now I'll do this on the passenger side. Now we can lift our hitch into place. I got Tom over there helping me. And we can put our fish wire through that hole in the bottom. And now we can lift this into place. And we can pull that fish wire so that bolt comes through our hitch. Now I got the other bolt that comes in the kit with a conical tooth washer. Make sure those teeth are facing that metal. I'll line up those holes and get our bolt started. And once you get a couple threads on both sides, it'll support the weight so we can put the rest of the hardware in. Before you get the hitch on, you need to remove this back panel We don't have it today, but if you do have that, just get that removed. It just pops right off. You can pull your fish wire right off the bolt. I'll put a conical tooth washer on this and a nut that comes in the kit. It's going to want to push back into the frame, so it's going to be a little difficult to get this on. Now we need to get our hardware through our bumper beam into our hitch. And our hitch is pretty low, it needs to be up there, so I'm actually going to tighten some of the hardware down so it holds in place for us. Now I'm going to take our fish wire and get it up into our bumper beam. I'm going to go to the driver's side with it. You want to come out the opening on the end, and on the other end I'm just going to put a bend in it just so it doesn't come back through the hole. Now I'll get our carriage bolt and our square washer, and I'll thread this on. And you want to be careful that this is threaded on all the way, so you don't want this falling off in the middle of your bumper beam there. I'll go ahead and push the spacer block in and the carriage bolt and give our wire a pull until it comes through. And I'll do that on the other side as well. Once you got both of these pulled through, you can pull the fish wire off like we did before, and I'll get our hardware on. It's going to be a conical tooth washer and a nut. And I'm pushing it to one side just so it doesn't rotate. Not a lot of space in here. Just get that hand tight for now. Now we can tighten and torque everything down. I'm going to start with these two bolts just because of how low that was, just so it snugs it up against the bumper, and then I'll tighten everything else down. Now I'm using a swivel adapter and a 19mm socket to do this. Now we can torque all this down to the specs in our instructions. Now if you don't have a torque wrench at home, you can usually rent one from your local auto parts store, or you can pick one up from us at etrailer. Now all we have to do is put our exhaust back into place if you took it down, and that just about does it. And that was a look at the TowSmart Trailer Hitch on our 2016 GMC Terrain.